Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well today. Thank you so much for joining us as we take a look at one of Jesus' parables. A parable is just a fancy way to say that Jesus was telling a story that everyone in his crowd could relate to in an attempt to explain a moral or spiritual issue. The one we're going to be looking at today is found in Matthew 22, 1 through 14. Let me paint a picture for you. A family is throwing a wedding, all the RSVPs are in, the venue is booked, the food and the drinks ordered. Then a few days before the wedding, everyone changes their RSVP to no. The family frantically reaches out to the guests on the list, urging them to reconsider, come, and enjoy the celebration. Many say they have other plans, and some don't even answer the call. Having just gotten married a year ago, I can only imagine the anxiety that this situation would cause. So, what does the family do? They want the bride and the groom to have a special day, to be celebrated, and let's be honest, it is well past the date to get a refund. So they decide their only option is to go out into the city and invite everyone they meet. They go to the hospital, the homeless shelter, the church, the mosque, everywhere. And they extend an invitation to everyone they see, hoping that people will accept and come to the wedding. And many do. And the wedding is a success. The place is full. Now, as the father of the bride is mingling with the guests, he happens to notice that instead of the bride and groom sitting at the head table, in their spot is a different couple that has simply been invited to the wedding. And to his amazement, she is wearing a wedding dress. They are starting to become the talk of the wedding, as you can imagine, and they're clearly taking the spotlight away from the bride and groom and putting it on themselves. The father goes over and he asks the guests, one, why are they sitting there? And two, why are they wearing what they're wearing? But the guests just simply stare at him, speechless. So what is the father to do? A similar situation unfolds in a story that Jesus tells in the book of Matthew. A king's son is getting married. When everything is ready, the king sends out his servants to let the guests know that they should come, but they refuse to come. He sends out more servants to reassure the guests there will be a ton of fun and there will be great food and drinks. But at this request, the guests don't even give the servants the time of day. They don't reply and they simply go about their busy lives. The king then tells his servants to go out and invite everyone that they find to the celebration, no matter who they are. And with this, there was a full crowd at the wedding. Now, a little backstory before this next section. In Jesus' day, it was customary for the wedding host to provide everything that the guests needed, and this included the clothes that they would wear. This is a little strange in our culture, but the point of this being that the guests didn't have to worry about anything, and they could focus on celebrating the married couple. Now we jump back in. As the king is mingling with all of his guests, he notices a man that does not have on the wedding clothes that he has provided. He asks the man why he doesn't have on the proper attire, and the man is speechless. The king then instructs his servants to remove the man from the wedding celebration. This is the individual I want to focus on. Now, the story doesn't tell us exactly what this individual was wearing. It simply says, not wearing wedding clothes, which seems harsh, doesn't it? But digging a little deeper, it's not about the clothes. When I think about a wedding, the main requirement I think about is that the bride and the groom get the attention. Everything is set up to focus on them, from the ceremony to the dances to the seating configuration. So when I think about this guest not wearing the wedding clothes, I think of him trying to stand out from the crowd, trying to put the attention on himself. So maybe he was wearing clothes that he thought were better, more stylish. Maybe he thought his clothes were more expensive than the wedding clothes. Whatever it was, I think the point here is not about what he was wearing, but that he had rejected the gift that the host had provided, and provided for a good reason. Whatever it was, he thought he was better. He thought he knew better. And maybe he thought he deserved some recognition because, of course, he had accepted the invitation. Or maybe he thought that he deserved to be there because he was special. And therefore, he was breaking a cardinal wedding rule, taking the attention away from the bride and groom. And because he wouldn't change his clothes, he doesn't get to participate in the celebration. Now, if we're honest, how often do we find ourselves in the place of this man in our response to God's invitation to fully experience his kingdom? God has invited us to his banquet, but not on our own merit, simply because he wants to celebrate and do life with us. And he provides everything. Similar to the king providing wedding clothes because he knows the best way for everyone to experience the celebration to the fullest, God provides guidance for us and asks us to rethink parts of our lives because he knows the best way for us to experience his kingdom to the fullest. He asks us to look at parts of our life differently. But a lot of times, these are parts of our life that we have done a certain way for a long time. And a lot of times, we think we know how to do it best. He asks us to take a back seat, let him have the spotlight. But we want to be seen, and we want to be recognized, and we think, why shouldn't we be admired for all that we've done? Maybe we don't go as far as getting kicked out of the celebration, but how many things are we resisting that are causing us to miss out on the full extent of the celebration? Because we keep checking out how we're looking in the bathroom mirror. Meaning, how many parts of God's kingdom are we missing out on because we're holding on to old habits or going about life worrying about what people think about us? Jesus ends this story by saying, "Many are invited, but few are chosen." We are invited to participate in God's kingdom. But like a guest who doesn't understand their role, many will accept the invitation on their own terms and miss out on the freedom that comes from living life without the spotlight on you. But the few who will fully enjoy the celebration are those of us who give up our need to stand out and give up on our attempts to earn our place at the celebration. And we let the bridegroom, which is Jesus, call the shots and get the praise, because we're just happy to be invited. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you got something out of this story today. Be sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss out on any of our future videos, and be sure to go and check out in all of the previous videos if you have not done so already. Hope you have a great day. Bye.